Hi everyone, my name is Fenix. Today I'm doing a special Living That Anime Dream with IQ Jackpot, the most awesome app for quiz trivia and winning jackpot prizes. So before we go any further, let me give you a little information about myself. Hajimemashite, Felix desu. My name is Phoenix, of course. I lived in Japan for 8 years and had the wonderful opportunity to work in the anime industry. Yokatta! Yokatta desu ne. So my first role in animation was working on Carol and Tuesday, which is a original series produced by Netflix.
Self-introductions in Japanese. High school classroom. In a high school classroom, a new student is waiting at the front of the classroom to give a self-introduction.
Okay, and that just was technical difficulties. Didn't expect for a video to start playing without touching that computer. Anyway, jumping right back into it. So my first role in animation was working on Netflix original series, Carol and Tuesday. I was the character reference model for Crystal and then the rotoscope actress for Flora. For those of you who are not familiar with rotoscope is where you shoot a video first of actors giving a performance, and then the animators go right back over it and animate that scene. It was a unbelievable, surreal experience for me. If you don't know, Carol and Tuesday was directed by Shinichiro Watanabe. He is a legendary anime producer. And if you have not watched Cowboy Bebop, what are you doing? Get on it. It is on Netflix, so definitely go check out Cowboy Bebop. The live action will be coming out soon. I am super, super hyped for that. And if you have not watched Carol and Tuesday, go check that out. I appear in episode 14 and then in the final episode. It was so much fun doing that. So moving right along, for those of you who are not a big anime fan or don't know what all the hype is with anime, don't worry, I got you covered. Okay, so where did anime come from? First, let's wind back. Animation was introduced to Japan through American cartoons. And then Japan took it a step further and turned it into the phenomenal concept that you see today. So anime is not just for kids. Anime is for everyone. There are different genres. If you are into sports, then definitely check out All Out. That is an amazing anime about futsal. Or if you're not into that, Kokoro Basket is another great one to check out. If you like shooting hoops, definitely check that out. Then if you're more into slice of life, or if you want something a little bit funny, I would definitely check out the rom-com section. With rom-coms, those are romance comedies. So romance comedy animes are exactly what you would expect. They're going to have characters generally in a high school setting that are going to be going through all the growing pains of life that you've gone through and experiencing their first love, such as, Hatsukoi, like your first love. There is Ao no Hara, which is a super traumatic anime to watch. Like, you need to have a tissue box next to you for that one. But don't worry, I will give you guys a full list in another YouTube video that I'll put out later on, going over my top 5 to watch rom-com animes, because I love watching rom-coms, especially like Love is War. That was a hilarious anime, and it did get 2 seasons because Kaguya-sama is one of my favorite anime characters of all time, because she's like, kawaii desu ne. So she's like, zanen, or that's so sad, or poor you. So definitely a fun series to check out. Moving right along, if you are looking for something darker, if you like dark humor, or you just want something that's heavy to watch, then you definitely want to check out more of like Violet Evergarden. That's more of a slice of life, kind of heavy style anime. You will need a box of tissues next to you. If you want to go for action, adventure, and blood and all that good stuff, Attack on Titan. Give up your heart, because Levi Hecho is bae. Definitely you want to check that anime out. So you're probably wondering, what got me into anime, or why am I so passionate about anime? I have been watching anime since I was a kid. I grew up watching anime. In fact, my first formal introduction to anime was Cowboy Bebop, which is totally not a show for kids. Like, for real. That is definitely 16 and up. It is not for kids. Cartoon Network did air this for a while, and it was so amazing to see that on Cartoon Network. The reason Cowboy Bebop is not for kids is because it is a little bit more violent. The first episode, I will still never forget watching it. So without giving any spoilers, the first episode of Cowboy Bebop sets the tone for the entire anime. You recognize that you're definitely in a darker, heavy set world. Most of this stuff is taking place out in Mars. So you have like space and cowboys, and it's so incredibly amazing. And it's so hard not to get spoilers on this anime because it's just fantastic. All right. So the first episode of Cowboy Bebop, my impression, I was blown away. I think I was about 9 at the time that I was watching this. It's not for 9-year-olds, but what my parents didn't know blessed me tremendously. I came out okay watching violent anime as a kid, I think. Might be why I have pink hair. But every episode of Cowboy Bebop, there's so much character development. And in the first episode, we get introduced to Spike. And Spike is like the god of cool anime characters. He's probably the coolest anime character of all time. Meet me outside, fight me later on this one because I'm so passionate about Spike. Spike is like, so amazing. You get to meet Spike and you get to get more inside of who he is and how he puts together this like ragtag team all upon his spaceship, the Bebop. Bebop. Anyway, so first episode, watching it, I'm like, what is this? This is so cool. And of course, the opening for Cowboy Bebop is legendary. Yoko Kanna did the composition. If you have not watched this after you finish this live stream, I can't speak English anymore. Nani o hanashimashou. Nani sore? Like, what is that? Nani sore? What is that? You're going to be getting lots of Japanese lessons, by the way, while you're watching my channel. And so, as I'm watching it, the opening sequence, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And when Faye Valentine comes walking across the screen, I can't speak English anymore. Walking across the screen, I was like, oh my God, I totally want to grow up and have this sexy, seductive walk. Like she's like, look at me walking across this screen. I'm like, yes, queen, walk across the screen. It's just that amazing. Seriously, after this live stream, go jump on it. Watch the opening for Cowboy Bebop. Better yet, go binge the entire series because it's that amazing. And then come back to IQ Jackpot and play some more trivia games so you can win those jackpot prizes. All right, darlings? Now, outside of Cowboy Bebop, staying within the amazing universe that Shinichiro Watanabe has created, you have Space Dandy, which also takes place in the same universe. Now, Space Dandy is a completely different theme. If you're looking for something that's funny and wild and keeps you entertained, and you can actually watch this series out of order and come back. So if you skip a couple episodes and you get it mixed up, no worry. The main thing is just to watch like the last 2 episodes together, and everything else you can kind of change the order. So you're good. Trust me, you're good. All right. Now, Space Dandy is amazing. It's one of my favorite animes. I am a dandy girl living in a dandy world. If you watch the series, you'll get the reference. So if you haven't watched it, go jump on it. Then we have Carol and Tuesday, which also takes place in the same universe as Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy. So Carol and Tuesday actually is so crazy because going in order of the stories, Carol and Tuesday actually is taking place before Cowboy Bebop because Mars is currently being built, whereas in Cowboy Bebop, Mars is already built and we have slums and everything's just kind of falling apart and gangs and syndicates are running wild. It's like the Wild Wild West. You got shooting, violence. I love it. Yes, shooting and violence. You got to have that in anime, right? All right, so Carol and Tuesday follows the story of Carol and her friend Tuesday as they embark in the music industry. And it's a really heartwarming story. Definitely has a coming of age feel. And we get to see a lot of different characters. There's even a Michael Jackson reference in the series that was completely adorable. So you definitely want to watch that. And then as you progress with the series, we also get to see a lot of political issues going on in the world at the time, which definitely speaks a lot about what we have been dealing with through COVID and with the whole Black Lives Matter and different movements that we've seen across the world. So it's definitely an anime that hits hard on political notes and pushes for diversity, which is a big plus. And one of the things that Shinichiro Watanabe, the director, commonly speaks on is pushing for diversity and making sure that there is more inclusion. I can't speak English. What are you saying? More inclusive. So anime is definitely becoming more inclusive. And if you want to see more diversity, then definitely check out Machiko to Haitachin. This one was directed by a female anime director. Yay! There's only like 8. Yeah, there's only 8 female anime directors. But moving on, that is an amazing anime to watch. It does take place in South America, and it has just a lot of variety, a lot of diversity in characters. And this one is sort of slice of life, adventure, and comedy mixed in together. It's a great show. I definitely recommend watching that. So now we've segued out of the Cowboy Bebop universe, which was created by Shinichiro Watanabe. We talked about Machiko to Haitachin, which is another great anime, but this one is taking place in South America. Now we're moving forward and jumping back for my old school fans. If you are an old school anime fan, then you're probably waiting for me to say the Yu Yu Hakusho, because that is one that I think everybody knows the opening song to. Like, if they play this song in the club, I'd be like, yeah, it would be like that. So the legendary opening for the Yu Yu Hakusho, most people that grew up in America, we were introduced to this through Toonami, back when Toonami showed a lot of anime on the Cartoon Network. So that's why we are so hyped up when we hear this opening song. In fact, when you go to cons and conventions, they definitely will play this at some point and everybody just goes crazy. I cannot wait for con season to open up again and we can go and enjoy the world and have fun again, right? So if you're not familiar with cons, what are cons? Con is short for convention. Way back in the day, after the first couple of world trade shows and fairs took place, cons started breaking out. And cons are a gathering for different communities, different subcultures to come together and show their love and their passion about what we care about. Now, today, we have specifically anime cons. Like if you're here in Atlanta, we have Anime Weekend Atlanta, which is amazing. I got to go before COVID. That was my last ounce of freedom. Yep. After Anime Weekend Atlanta, it was a complete shutdown, but it was still fun to go. So what do you do at anime conventions? Well, we have different panels, which are hosted by people that work in the anime industry, sometimes cosplayers. Sometimes you'll even get voiceover artists that will come in and do an amazing segment and talk about their career and even do the voices for the characters that they do, which is super fun to listen to. And obviously, I do a lot of voice acting. I actually started doing voice acting when I was 19, way back in the day, and then segued more into acting. Hence, I landed the role on Carol and Tuesday. But what else can you do at cons? One of my absolute favorite things to do at a con is to go to the dances. If you're going to Anime Weekend Atlanta, there's always a bebop room. Bebop is a style of jazz music, and it also references Cowboy Bebop. So in the bebop rooms, you're having all the jazz, everyone's playing, lots of dancing. You generally will hear the theme song for Cowboy Bebop at least 5 times. But you know what? It gets better every time you hear it. It just does not get old, seriously. It stays on my playlist. It's just fantastic. Then, of course, at conventions, you see cosplayers. Yay, my people. So what are cosplayers and how can you get started in cosplay? Fantastic question. So cosplayers, the word cosplay literally means costume play. And this was coined by a Japanese journalist who came over to America and attended one of our sci-fi conventions and was like, oh my gosh, all these people are dressed up. This is incredible. And instead of costume play, which is not catchy, he coined the term cosplay. And then he started doing cosplay events in Japan, and it grew to what we now have today, which we celebrate in America, in Europe, in Asia. Just everybody is on the cosplay party train. And if you would like to get into cosplay, it's not difficult. First thing to do is pick out a character that you like, go to your closet, see what type of clothes you have that's similar, and do a closet cosplay. Just as the word says, closet cosplay. It's literally just making your outfit look similar to that character. Then from there, the real craziness begins when you start buying your costume, or if you're like me, you can make your costumes, which this is not complete, but that's okay. She still looks stunning in the background. I'll finish her later. One of the main things about cosplay is to enjoy it and to have fun. It's not about the fame. It's not about the For You pages or any of that type of stuff. It's really about showing your love for the character and having a lot of fun while you're doing it. I started cosplaying before I knew what cosplay was because I have an older sister and she enjoyed dressing me up in like baby doll clothes and then Barbie clothes. So all my life I have been wearing costumes. My mom is also a seamstress. So I have worn some amazing gowns and frilly dresses and all that stuff. And then my mom tried to put me in sewing classes. And I was like, I don't want to learn how to sew. Oh, nah. And yet, lo and behold, there is a huge sewing machine right next to me that you can't see because it's, well, actually, let's see if we can rotate this. Oh yeah, bumpy camera. So this is my sewing machine and serger. And when you get serious about cosplay, you will want to invest in a sewing machine and start learning how to sew your own costumes. Now, if you do not want to sew your own costumes, don't worry. There are amazing cosplayers that buy their costumes and still enjoy it. And just the other day, I bought my Wonder Woman anime Anikami costume and I wore it and I was like, yeah, this is so great. I wish I had made it because it is incredibly hard and made out of plastic and super uncomfortable. But I didn't have time to make it because I'm in school and doing YouTube videos and it's just like, I don't have time to make an armor cosplay. And that's okay. You do not, I'll repeat, you do not have to make your costumes. There's nothing wrong with buying your costumes and you can still enter cosplay contests that allow you to buy a costume. So you're not missing out on anything if you don't decide to learn how to sew and make your own costumes. If you want to go and learn how to sew and make your costumes, Yakuza! Welcome to the community. That is 100% A-okay. And there are so many amazing teachers out here. There's like Cami Cosplays. She has great tutorials. There are so many resources out today that weren't around when I was like in high school that you can jump on and build your craft. And the thing about it is, as you start on your cosplay journey, there will be costumes that you will make and it will not work out. Trust me. Story time! So, craziest costume disaster and catastrophe ever, darlings, ever. I went to the Tokyo Game Show. This was the 2015 game show. I already had my cosplay picked out and finished about 3 weeks before this convention. Fantastic. I like never finish my costumes that early. I'm always the person the night before still sewing on a costume. Lo and behold, my friend and cosplay photographer hits me up and he's like, Fenix-san, あなた、Catalina 見たいそう。Catalina cosplay お願いします。So he sent me a message in Japanese saying, Phoenix, you look like Catalina from Tekken 7. You should cosplay her. That's who I want you to cosplay for this event. And I'm like, current cosplay. Just throw this over here. You know, she's not going anywhere. So I actually started working on that costume 3 days before the convention. It took me 12 hours, 12, to finish the feather designs on this jacket. And then when it came to painting the pants, I learned something. You must use primer, acrylic primer on your pants. Otherwise, the acrylic paint just gets absorbed into the fabric and it makes a hot mess. So not only did I ruin a nice pair of pants, I mean, I totaled these pants. They were just like, there was no salvaging them. And I was like, yep, well, this isn't going to work. So I did what everybody else did for Catalina from Tekken 7, because she has these striped pants that have really intricate designs in the stripes that you would need to hand paint or make a pattern of it on your computer and then print the fabric. I totally should have done that. Like, if I had to go back in time, I would definitely have just had the fabric printed and then made the pants and called it a day. But no, I went the let's paint the pants route. Ruined a really nice pair of jeans. So this didn't work. So I went in my closet and I went with just like black pinstripe jeans, because I saw like other cosplayers who had done her. They also went that route because her pants are just like, it's a headache to do them. So I got to Tokyo Game Show. I'm walking around. Nobody other than the Tekken community, like over by the Tekken area where you have like Bandai Namco. Outside of that little area, nobody knew who I was, because Catalina was such a new character. They had only released her concept art, and that is a-okay. Cosplay is not about being recognized. It's about the fact that you have on the costume for the character that you like and you feel badass in it. And that is what matters, is how you feel, the fact that you're enjoying yourself and that you're having a good time. And hopefully you'll be getting some awesome photos and making great memories while you're there. That's what this whole thing and going to conventions is all about. I will go ahead and let you know, I did redo that outfit. So I think I have probably spent at least $800 or $900 on my Tekken 7 costume at this point, between the paints, the fabric, redoing the pants, destroying a pair of pants, making the belts, all the different details, buying a wig that I was like, I should have just stuck with my natural hair for this one. But at the end of the day, each time that I went back and revisited this costume, my skills improved. And actually, this is the first time I ever had really messed up a costume. And at that point, I had already become a professional cosplayer and had been cosplaying for an extensive amount of time professionally in Japan. I think at that point, I was at my 3rd or 4th year cosplaying in Japan. And I'm like, what are you doing? How are you messing up something like this? But you live, you learn, and it's a fun story to share with you on Living That Anime Dream with Fenix Lejean, talking about anime, cosplay, and at the end, some fantastic Japanese lessons. Nihongo ishou ni benkyou shimashou. Let's study Japanese together. All right, so back to the convention madness. Going to cons is so much fun because you will meet a lot of different people that are also avid anime fans, comic fans, cosplayers. It brings out a whole community, and it's just nothing but love. And that's one of the things that I like the most about our community, is that we are so welcoming, and all levels of cosplayers are welcome. Even if your costume is like falling apart or your costume wig is getting all tangled up and messy, there are people that will help you while you're at the convention. And one of the things that I liked is I went to a Tekken photo shoot in Japan, and I was there, and a girl was doing Lucky Chloe, and her wig got really tangled up. So I was like, okay, come here. And I pulled out my brush and I started detangling it. And Lucky Chloe, if you have not seen this character, her hair comes all the way down to her knees. It is long. It wigs that long, tangle very easily. If you're wearing a long wig, please expect tangles, and you need to carry a wig brush, because if you don't, it will tangle and it will be a nightmare to detangle without a brush. So just carry your wig brush. It's an excellent tip. Anyway, so as I'm trying to detangle it, 2 other cosplayers that were there came over and they're like, oh, hi, let us help you. So then it was 3 people trying to detangle her hair, and then it grew to 6 people. And we finally got her hair all detangled, and a lot of the photographers took some behind the scenes shots and sent it to us on Twitter. We're like, oh my God, these are so cute. Thank you. And a lot of them were like, we really appreciated seeing you step up to help someone else. And then it inspired the other people around to also help her out. So that's what I love about our community, is that everybody is so loving, so caring, and super, super helpful. And once again, if you're just tuning in, Thank you for checking out IQ Jackpot, one of the hottest places for trivia games. Every game starts on the hour, so get ready for those next games. We are living that anime dream. So far, we have covered anime, what anime is all about, why you should be watching it, the fact that if you haven't, you need to go and watch Cowboy Bebop, Space Dandy, Carol and Tuesday, Violent Evergarden, the Yu Yu Hakusho, throw in Inuyasha, and of course, Yashahime, which is the second generation of Inuyasha. If you want something that goes on forever and a day that you will take a long time to binge or finish, then please go check out Naruto. Then after you get done with all the fillers in Naruto, go hop over to Boruto, which is the second generation. One of the coolest things about anime that we've seen in the past 2-3 years is that we have gotten to see the second generation for some of our favorite characters, which is really cool because not only did we get to grow up with them, now we get to see them have kids. It's like, yay, they got some kids. And we get to see all the ships. Some of them we might not have approved of, but at least we got to see the canon ships as well. All right, moving right back into cosplays, getting started. What are some of the things that really are essential if you want to become a cosplayer? First, just have an open mind and an open heart. That is super important because, again, it's a community that you're becoming a part of. And if you want to get extra help, definitely go onto Facebook and type in cosplay for the groups and join a lot of the different groups. Feel free to ask questions. People in our community are super friendly. And if you like, you can hit me up. My IG is at Fenix Dejan. And ask me questions. I'll be happy to help you pick out a character. In fact, a lot of my friends that have gotten into cosplay have messaged me like, I don't know what character I should cosplay. Give me some advice. And one of the most fun things about our community is that everybody is always happy to introduce you to new characters or suggest characters for you to cosplay. Like I personally would have not have cosplay Wonder Woman. Like I like her, but I just never really thought to cosplay her until a friend of mine was like, cosplay Wonder Woman. You need to cosplay Wonder Woman. And then Wonder Woman went on my cosplay list for about 4 years. Like my cosplay list is that long. The longer that you are a cosplayer, the more extensive your cosplay list will become. And then you just have to pick out which characters you really want to do and do those first, and then start checking off the ones lower down on your list. Anyway, so Wonder Woman, I did want to do the new 52 version. If you're a comic book fan, then you know the new 52 has had completely new designs of a lot of characters. Like Amanda Waller got super sexy in the new 52, so I cosplayed her right away because I was like, hey, we gotta find Sister Queen up in here. Yeah. Anyway, I did not cosplay the new 52 Wonder Woman. It just went on my list forever. And then about 2 weeks ago, I was on eBay because I'm always on eBay. Like COVID, where are you going shopping? Nowhere. Nowhere, dogs. And I saw the Amy Kami Wonder Woman costume for sale. And I was like, hey, is this still available? Let me put my bid on here. And the costume came in. And it was so incredible and amazing. I got to put it on and take pictures in my house because I can't go anywhere. Yep. But it was still awesome to get to put that costume on. Then I posted it on Instagram. People were like, oh my God, you're my favorite Wonder Woman. I'm like, wow, thank you. That's a super high honor. Super, super high honor. But the fact that I got to wear the costume made me really happy. And then I also made other people happy. And that's the main thing about cosplay and getting into it and picking out your characters, picking out characters that you like. And when I think about Wonder Woman, I like that she's like this strong Amazonian warrior, and also Lucy Lawless, who was the actress for Xena Warrior Princess. I love Xena. Ugh, I wish I could do her battle cry. She also voiced Wonder Woman in quite a few series, most notably the Injustice video game series. She's like, have you ever fought with the Amazon? And I'm like, no, but I would love to fight with an Amazon. I mean, I wouldn't last, but her voice is incredible. And so when I picked out the Amy Kami version, it really reminded me of Lucy Lawless. And I was like, yeah, I like this one. And also the design, I felt like that one would suit me more when portraying and cosplaying as Wonder Woman. I think one of the most important things to do when you have a character that has so many different looks is to pick a look that you are A, comfortable with, B, in love with, and C, one that you really want to cosplay. So you got to love it, feel comfortable in it, and really want to cosplay it. So for me, I went with the Ame Kami version. And by the way, if you're not familiar with the Ame Kami comics, so Ame is taken from anime, and then Kami comics. So it's really cool that this was DC's attempt to bridge manga and anime with comics. And the character designs do definitely give you like this anime vibe. And then the storyline is definitely following like a comic format. So it is a really nice blend of cultures coming together. And I really enjoyed it. Also, if you have not seen Catwoman's design, it's the bomb. Like if y'all want to see some sexy cats, be like, meow. Definitely check out Catwoman's design for Annie Kami because it is just that amazing. And also Poison Ivy looked pretty cool in that one too. She was like more of a nymph. I don't think we generally get to see her looking like a fairy or something like that, but that was really cool. And of course, Harley Quinn is in that for all my Harley fans. Moving right along, we talked about cosplay, conventions, how to choose your characters, going through the different steps and deciding what outfit is going to look the best on you and also what you're going to feel comfortable with. Doing a quick reset for people that are just jumping into our live stream. Konnichiwa! Watashi wa Phoenix desu. Hi, I'm Phoenix. Later on, I will be doing a special Japanese lesson, so definitely stay tuned for that. And for all of my people that are coming over from IQ Jackpot, thank you so much for playing the IQ trivia games. Keep playing, level up, win those jackpots, and keep enjoying while I keep you entertained for a full 50-minute live stream. All right, now, probably one of the coolest things about watching anime is that you will start to pick up a lot of Japanese phrases. So since I'm currently in school studying Japanese and engineering, a lot of times I'll do my quote-unquote studying, my extra studies, will include watching anime. Sometimes I will watch them raw. For those of you who are not big anime watchers, raw means that you're watching the Japanese version without subtitles. And then, of course, sub would be subtitles. And then dub means that you have an English voice over artist voicing the character that was originally done in Japanese. So generally what you would see on TV are all productions that were originally done with a Japanese voiceover artist and then a casting director for the US branch or whoever they're doing the dubbing studio from will pick out a voiceover artist to do the English. And there are some amazing voice artists out there. Like I have like a whole VO list of artists that I totally like. I crush on their voice. And if you have not checked it out, voiceover artists in Japan are called seiyuu. Seiyuu. So seiyuu is someone that voices the character. Character no koi o dashimasu. Character no koi o dashimasu. So they're voicing the character. One of my career goals and dreams is to do voices in anime, considering the fact that I've already worked as the rotoscope actress. So kind of like that's a little bit backwards for a normal VO career. You would normally start out voicing a character, not literally having a character designed off of you and then doing the acting and rotoscope for a character. That is highly unusual, but I'm super blessed that I got it. And so voiceover and watching different Japanese voiceover artists like Yuki Kaji, he is an amazing voiceover artist. If you are a Attack on Titans fan, then you have heard him. He plays the Japanese voiceover for Eren Yeager, and he does such an amazing job. I actually have a clip of him say it on my computer where he did a reading, and he's like reading the script, and you could literally see like the veins bulging out of his throat, and it is just like super crazy to watch. And let me do some quick shout outs. Laura, hello, darling. And Damien, konnichiwa, darling. Thank you so much for joining my live stream. Yoshikune, please take good care of me. And I have been talking about voiceover artists and my love for Yuki Kaji, who does voice Eren. Yeah, I love just hearing him speak, and all of the different acting that he does when he's using his voice is so incredible. He is one of the top 5 best voiceover artists in Japan, and he's super, super popular. I can't wait to see like future projects that he does, because every time he comes in, he is just so incredible. Oh, thank you, Laura. Yes, I went pink, super ginky color to match my jacket, which actually says Tokyo across the back. I love it. And this fan says Tokyo. Actually, does that say Tokyo? Yep. Kyoto. 間違いしました。それはKyotoです。So the kanji behind me says Kyoto. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. We're having a lot of fun. Once again, thank you all for coming in and watching this live stream. We have been talking about anime, cosplay, seiyuu, which are voice over artists. And we're going to go ahead and segue into talking about how to learn Japanese and how to improve your Japanese. One of the things that I did to improve my Japanese was, quote unquote, studying by watching anime. I'm like, once you're about, okay, so let me back it up. In Japan, you have 5 different levels of Japanese. N5 being your beginner level, N4 being a little bit conversational. N3 is actually conversational. A few years ago, they took N3 and divided it, which is how we got N4 and N5. Then we have N2, which is business level Japanese, which you would need to speak if you're working for a company. And then N1, which is Japanese at the native level. I am not at N1, but that is my goal by the end of this year, is to get to N1. So I really study a lot. Like, I enjoy reading Japanese stories. So these type of books have your story in Japanese. I don't know if you guys can see that. Ew, can you see that? Yeah. And then it has the English translation. And for me, reading these type of stories is really helpful, because if there's a word I don't know, then I can continue reading and then come back and read the English versions. Generally, I'll like highlight the word that I didn't understand, read the English and see if I can get the meaning, and then look it up in the dictionary if I still don't really understand. But this book does put the translation and vocabulary words in the back, so it's super helpful. One of the best books I bought. Also, Naisha! Yaha! Hi, Naisha! This is one of my homegirls. She came and partied with me in Tokyo, and we had an amazing adventure. I miss you too. Thank you so much for joining my live stream. Jumping right back into it, another way to improve your Japanese is to go ahead and start tackling the massive titan that is kanji. Like, you need to attack this titan right here. Once you start learning kanji, you'll start picking up a lot of different words and expressions, and this will help you with your reading. And the more you read in Japanese, it really will help you fix your grammar. So for me right now, most of my classes are focused on reading and presentations, because reading, I didn't learn Japanese through reading. I learned Japanese through talking to people, which is really great. But then the downside is that you might not get the grammar, because spoken Japanese versus textbook Japanese, generally, once you become friends with someone in Japan, the language changes. There's a lot of slang that comes in, which is great, but doesn't fly at the office. You can't just go to your boss and be like, yo, nani ka atta? Like, what are you up to? Can I help you? Yeah, your boss is not going to like that. Let's not do that. Instead, you want to be able to speak Keigo, which is business Japanese, which is super polite and extremely difficult, but it's really important to learn that. Oh, nice. My homegirl Naisha says she is learning Korean. Congratulations. Yeah. Also, I did study Korean for a while. Reading is super important. If you're trying to learn a language, the more you read in that language, you will understand sentence structures quicker. Is a very natural way to start understanding the language is to go ahead and pick up the sentence structure. You'll start to notice things about grammar. And if you have a teacher, you can always ask your teacher, hey, could you like highlight the particles? Or one of the things that I did in Japanese, you have particles, and particles mark the subjects. So for example, watashi wa Phoenix desu. Watashi wa is the particle marker for the subject. So I would highlight that. And then Phoenix, of course, would be my name. And des is the polite ender that you would put at the end of the sentence because it's polite. That's the des form. Later, you'll learn like Tata form and other complicated stuff. And you're like, oh, des form. I don't need this anymore. But of course, that's as you progress. Then another thing that I did to help with learning Japanese is that I started teaching Japanese. So since I am about N3, N2 level, I can easily teach N4 and N5 because I've already studied it, and it's a great way to review those lessons. So if you're learning Korean, Chinese, or Spanish, definitely going ahead and doing review sessions, study sessions, and tutoring. Like if you can get a job tutoring in the language that you're learning, is super helpful because it reinforces what you've already learned, and then you're helping somebody. So it's super, super beautiful. Hopefully you guys liked my tips. Let me see if I can get today's audio script to pull up. So a voiceover friend of mine, Spinel, agreed to do an awesome voiceover lesson where we wrote a script in Japanese and in English for people to learn with because we're big anime fans. I cannot figure out how to get this to actually share my screen. I've been like, I'll figure it out. I'll get there. I promise. Next time, we'll share the screen. And I would like to give a shout out to Kosei, who did design the characters that we are voicing for this segment. For whatever reason, it's not giving me the option to share my screen. Ain't that something? But I can still go ahead and play the clips for you. So let's go.
Recording?
Hopefully this will play. Let me know in the comments section if you guys can hear this or not.
Okay. Lesson 1. Self-introductions in Japanese. High school classroom. In a high school classroom, a new student is waiting at the front of the classroom to give a self-introduction. The teacher quiets down the classroom.
はーい、静かに。今日は転校生を紹介します。まずは学級委員の小川くんに、それから転校生に自己紹介をしてもらいましょう。Please be quiet. Today, we have a new student. First, let's have our class president introduce himself, and then our new student.
Shinichiro Ogawa walks up to the front of the classroom.
はじめまして。このクラスの学級委員の小川慎太郎です。何言ったらいいかな。趣味はサッカーするのが好きなんだ。一緒にサッカーできたら嬉しいな。まあ、とりあえず、これからよろしくね。教室のみんなに自己紹介してくれる？Nice to meet you. I'm the class president, Shintaro Ogawa. I don't know what to say. Hobbies? I like playing soccer. It would be great if we could play together. Anyways, looking forward to getting to know you. Can you introduce yourself to the class?
はい。はじめまして。私はブラナカ・バレンタインですけど、リリーって呼んでください。私はアメリカから来ました。私の趣味は剣道です。これからよろしくお願いします。 Yes. Nice to meet you. I'm Veronica Valentine, but please call me Vivi. I'm from America. My hobby is kendo. From here on out, please take care of me.
Okay, so in that conversation, first we had Sensei, the teacher, Sensei. She said, Minasan, hai, shizuka ni shimashou. Please quiet down. Shizuka ni onegaishimasu. Shizuka ni. So shizuka ni means please be quiet, quiet down yourself. So like simmer down, children, simmer down. So shizuka ni. Then she asked the class president to come up and introduce himself. And he gives his introduction by saying, Hajimimashite, Hajimimashite, Hajimimashite. So Hajimimashite is how do you do? Hajimimashite, Shinichiro Otagawa desu. My name is Shinichiro Otagawa. Then he goes and he's like, Nani o hanashimashou. Like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. Typical high school student. I mean, if you put me on the spot in high school, I might not have known what to say. No, I'm kidding. I was always like, I got plenty of things to say. And then he goes in, he says, shumi. Shumi is the word for hobby. Watashi no shumi wa soccer desu. My hobby is soccer. Isho ni soccer asobimasu wa yokatta ne. So if we could play soccer together, I would be super happy. And then he's like, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, which is please take good care of me. And then he asks her to introduce herself to everyone here today. Kyou no minasan, shikushokai onegaishimasu. Shikushokai dekiru onegaishimasu. Shikushokai is self-introduction. So then Veronica Valentine, voiced by me, comes up. Hi! Hajimemashite! Watashi wa Veronica Valentine. Te yu kedo, Vivi te yonde kudasai. So hello, my name is Veronica Valentine, but please call me Vivi. So again, she's saying, Hajimemashite, nice to meet you. Watashi wa Veronica Valentine desu. Kedo. So kedo means but or however. Vivi te yonde kudasai. Vivi te. Te is the particle. And then yonde kudasai. Kudasai is used at the end of a verb to make it polite. So please call me Vivi. Then she goes to say, Watashi wa America kara kimashita. I am from America. America kara. Kara is from. Kimashita. I came from America. Watashi no shumi wa kendo desu. My hobby is kendo. If you're not familiar with kendo, kendo is a form of sport where you use wooden swords and you put on like armor and you practice sword play. It is not the same thing that samurai did, but it is pretty close. And it's a lot of fun. I definitely, if you get the chance, try kendo. Watashi no shumi wa kendo desu. Kore kara mina yoroshiku onegaishimasu. From here on out, kore kara mina yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Mina, everyone. So minasan, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Please take good care of me. And that is how you would give an introduction in Japanese. If you would like to listen to that again, I will post a replay for this video so that way you can practice as we continue to do live streams with IQ Jackpot. Please be sure to turn it up, and practice your Japanese as we will always be living that anime dream with Fenix Sejan. And before we wrap up today's live stream, let's do a quick recap. So today we talked about anime, some of the top anime that you should watch. Then we jumped right into talking about conventions, where they started and why they're so awesome. Hopefully things will open up again and we'll get to go to some conventions at the end of this year, if not next year, and how to become convention ready with your cosplays. We talked about buying your costume because there's no shame in buying your costume, or if you want to make your costume like I do over here, this incomplete, beautiful costume, I will complete it eventually. Then we jumped into our Seiyu Japanese lesson. Big shout out to Spiegel and Kose who did do the characters. Unfortunately, I could not figure out how to get my screen to share, but that's okay. I'm learning. I'm studying, and I will definitely continue learning and building and improving. And I would like to thank Laura, thank Damien, thank Nisha for coming and tuning in. You are all fantastic. And to everyone who watched today's live stream, thank you so much. And big thank you to IQ Jackpot, the hottest source for trivia games. If you have not, go check out the app. It is IQ Jackpot. It's an amazing app to earn Bitcoins through playing trivia games. That wraps up today's live stream. 皆さん、ありがとうございました。すごく楽しかった。Thank you so much for today. I had a whole lot of fun. And hopefully I will see you next time. じゃあね、darling たち。Bye, darlings. I love you too. Stay safe. じゃあね。Bye bye.